Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name's Michelle. If you're new here, welcome. So in today's cooking video, I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing with a simple sirloin roast beef, and then how I'm going to get 2 meals out of it using my leftovers this evening to make another home meal on another day. So come along and check out my beef. Alright, so I am starting with a very simple piece of sirloin roast beef. This was actually cut from a whole sirloin, about this big, that I had bought at Costco, and I cut it down for several meals. I'm going to keep this super simple. A lot of people are scared of roast beef. They think it gets dry. They don't know how long to cook it. I think the best roast beef is cooked super slow. So obviously when you get home from work at 5:30 on a weeknight, you don't want to pick roast beef for your dinner unless it's been in the crock pot all day long. I do love making roast beef in the crock pot, but I'm going to roast this one tonight instead. So it is about noon now. We will be eating probably around 5 o'clock this evening. So this will be in the oven, this little piece of meat, about 5 hours. And again, I'm going to keep this super simple. I'm going to use some plain olive oil. I'm going to drizzle that right on the top. And that's probably a little over a tablespoon. And I'm just going to rub it all around and coat the meat good with the oil. And now I gotta wash my hands. Alright, then the only other ingredient that I am putting on this is some Cabela's brand open season spice blends. The flavor is a roasted garlic and beer. You can pretty much do whatever you want with a hunk of beef like this. The ingredients that are in this are salt, dehydrated garlic, sugar, brown sugar, paprika, sea salt, natural beer flavor, spices, and soybean oil. So you can mix up all those ingredients on your own if you like. We just happened to be at Cabela's, and I bought a couple different of their seasoning blends, a couple different flavors. They are very good. They're a little pricey, so since I'm trying to watch my money now that I'm not working, I probably will not repurchase them again because I can mix up my own, but I'm definitely not going to throw away what I have, and I still have quite a bit left in my bottle. You can use these as a replacement for table salt and pepper on your dining table as well, just with the extra flavoring. I'm not a beer drinker. I hate beer. This is not overpowering with beer, or I wouldn't use it. So all I'm going to do now is add a little bit of water. So I've added probably just under an inch of water. And now I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce. You could also use beef broth in here. And that's it. So now I'm just going to put a lid on this, put it in the oven at 275, and let it go the rest of the day. And pop. There you go. Now we're going to slice it down. That's where I need my man. Hello? Do I have a man? I need a meat slicer. Is that you?
I guess that has to be.
It has to be. Mike's salad. My salad. Mike's plate. He wants it. Go ahead, grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it. And my plate. Alright, well, dinner was yummy. So this is what I have left. It's not a lot, but I don't want a whole lot. So this is going back in here with all the juice that's left. And you'll have to come back. Well, actually, you won't come back. You'll just stay on this video and watch what I do with the rest of it. Hey there, so I am back with part 2 of this beef video. Lost my train of thought there for half a second. So anyway, you've seen basic roast beef that we ate with salad. You know, it's a couple days later. We ate the roast beef with some salad and some peas. So now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the roast beef that we had left over. Obviously, the larger piece of beef that you start with, depending on your family size, the more you will have left over, the more you'll have to use for this second meal. The dish that I'm going to prepare with the leftovers is going to be a very basic beef and barley soup recipe. Again, not a recipe that I follow. I'm just going to throw some stuff in a crock pot. It's a meal that you don't need a crock pot for. You can most definitely prepare this on a stovetop. Because you're not cooking off bones and making a bone broth, this is a soup that is very easily prepared after work. It can be done in 15 minutes. Warm it up and you're ready to eat. The flavors have the beef's already been cooked, so it's very easy to assemble it. I'm just choosing to do it in the crock pot because I have several hours to work on to eat it, and I'm just gonna let it simmer all afternoon in the crock pot. That way when I pick Mike up from work and we get home, it's ready. We just have to sit down at the table. And it's a perfect day here for soup. It is thunderstorming right now. We've had some great weather the last few days. Today it's back in the 40s, rainy, windy, and now it's thunderstorming. Thankfully, when I went to Target this morning for a few items, it wasn't storming, but it was raining. So I did get wet, and my hair smells like an old wet dog right now. All right, so let's go to the kitchen and put some soup together. All right, I will first go over the ingredients that I'm going to be using. So for my fresh vegetables, I have a piece of celery and a whole carrot. The carrot is already peeled, so all I need to do yet is cut these up into the size that I want them. I'm going to be starting with water as my base. So I'm going to be adding some bouillon beef base. Here is my glass dish of leftover roast beef, including the juice that I had left over when I roasted it. These are my leftover peas from dinner, and I'm also going to be adding some additional frozen peas to it. Some garlic. My spices I'll be using are bay leaves, basil, pepper, onion powder, salt. I need to get my salt out. And then I'm also going to add a can of diced tomatoes. And of course, the star of the show is the barley. Okay, let's start putting some soup together. So I'm going to start off with about 8 cups of water. Again, depending on how much meat you have and how large of an amount of soup you want, will depend on how much water you start with. To that, I'm going to add some beef bouillon. It's probably a good 4 tablespoons. I'm going to add my diced tomatoes. This is a dump and go recipe. You can certainly make this more of a vegetable soup by adding additional vegetables. You could add green beans, corn, yellow beans, lima beans, anything you want. I asked Mike what he preferred, and he was good just with peas, carrots, and celery. So that's all I'm going to use. So I'm going to add my carrots and celery. Now again, if you're cooking this on the stovetop, you are going to need to bring this to somewhat of a boil in order for your vegetables, if you're using fresh vegetables, in order for them to cook fully. If you're using all frozen vegetables, you're obviously not going to need as much time for it to cook. Now I'm going to add my seasonings. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon, maybe a little more, of some garlic. Can't go wrong with some healthy garlic. You can add some fresh garlic instead of the minced. I just usually always use the minced. You can add some real onions. I'm just using some onion powder since I'm out of onions, and tomorrow is market day, so hopefully I can stock up on my fresh vegetables tomorrow. Pepper. Oh, the rumbles of thunder. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it is like seriously thundering. Some salt. And then my herbs. I'm going to add some basil. And a couple of bay leaves that are not looking very good. What I have left is kind of crunched up. Alright, now in goes my meat. Oh, I'm trying not to make a splashy mess here on myself because I didn't put my apron on. And now my peas. Again, I'm just going to add another handful of frozen peas here. That should be good. Now, depending on how much barley you add will depend on if you need to add more liquid to this. Obviously, the barley is going to soak up the liquid. So I'm going to let this go for a little bit here. I have it on high. I'm going to let it go for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm going to come back and check it and put the barley in. Again, if you're doing this on the stovetop, you can add it all at one time because you're going to be right there to keep an eye on as everything warms up and then the barley starts soaking stuff up. Since I have the time, again, that's why I'm using the crock pot. So, lid on, let it go, and I'll be back. Okay, soup's been cooking for a little bit, so now I'm going to add my barley. So I have 2 cups here. I'm going to start off adding about 1 cup of it. Barley takes about 10 minutes to cook if it's boiling. This is not boiling, obviously, so it's going to take a hair longer. But I'm going to wait until it plumps up a little bit, and then I'm going to test it to see if I need to add some more. Alright, I ended up putting all 2 cups of barley in here. And there you go. Looks yummy. So that's gonna do it. So go ahead and make a nice pot of soup. Make it however you want with whatever vegetables you want. And I'm going to eat a couple nibbles of panettone with some mascarpone on the top with it. So yummy. Have a side salad with it. So again, soup's one of those things where you can make it however you want to make it and it's never wrong. So tune in. I'll be back soon. Bye.